Yeah, this is SAP training program for SRM module. Before going to this training program, let me introduce myself. Myself, Kumar, working as a SAP SRM lead functional consultant. Total, I'm having around 10 years of SAP experience in both material management as well as supplier relationship management modules. And I worked on all kinds of projects that includes development, implementation, support, business migration, version upgrade, text automation, interface, rollouts, and production support projects. Also, parallel, I am doing classroom and online trainings, including corporate trainings. This is a high level overview for myself. If come to specifically this training program, this is training program to deliver or to expertise the peoples in the particularly SAP SRM area. The objective of this training program, at the end of this program, the peoples are in the position to configure SAP SRM module in terms of client requirement. This is mainly deals with procurement functional training program related to SRM module. So at the end of this program, functional consultants can implement the SAP system using SRM module as per client requirement. They can perform all the business processes which are possible and exist in SAP SRM environment, and people can have overview of all the systems which are involved in the end-to-end procurement scenario using SAP SRM module. If come to specifically the syllabus or chapters we are going to cover in the particular training agenda, I am going to explain now. First of all, we are going to introduce all the systems which are going to be involved in the end-to-end procurement scenarios as introductory of the SAP SRM training program. Here we are going to introduce all the systems like SAP SRM, MDM, SUS, Enterprise Portal, XI, PI, all together, because all these systems are going to be involved in the end-to-end procurement scenarios depend upon the various client requirements. So as a SRM function consultant should know basic concept of all the systems which are going to be involved in the procurement scenarios. So in the first chapter we are going to introduce all the systems basic introduction including functional and technical details. If come to next level, that is SRM terminology, because the basic module for SRM is MM in the backend. The same procurement scenarios we can run in both SRM and MM with different templates and different procurement process wise, but the terminology is different in both the modules. One of the example is material group in ECC, the same thing called as product category in SRM. So here we are going to introduce all the SRM terminology comparing with backend ECC MM module. So we are going to cover all those terminology, because if the people are going to work in as a SRM functional consultant, they should know the exact terminology which is going to be used in the SAP SRM client environment. So in the second chapter we are going to introduce all the SRM terminology versus ECC MM terminology, and in the third chapter we are going to introduce all the possible implementation scenarios. Say there are standard 4 implementation scenarios are there: classic, extended classic, standalone and decoupled. So we are going to introduce all those implementation scenarios here and their pros and cons and applicability, dependencies, prerequisites, advantages, disadvantages, everything we are going to cover here. Also decision matrix in order to select the specific implementation scenario according to client requirement also we are going to cover. because as per client requirement, SRM function consultant has to decide which implementation scenario is suitable for the client requirements. The decision matrix also we have included here, including mapping of different business procurement scenarios as per implementation scenarios. So at the end of this chapter, consultants are able to take decision to map respective implementation scenario with for the client requirements. Next one is the introduction of procurement cycles. Here we are going to explain the basic procurement cycle exists in the backend ECC MM system and SRM module. We are going to introduce all the procurement processes which are available in the SAP SRM system and comparing with backend material management system. Then after we are going to discuss overview of SAP SRM solution and designing part. Here as a part of SAP SRM solution design part, what is the SRM architecture, how the direct procurement, indirect procurement, service procurement, catalogs procurement, sourcing concept, supplier collaborations, everything we are going to give high level overview in this particular chapter. All these are all part of SAP SRM solution designing part. Then we are going to discuss different kinds of data transfer technologies, because here the main key role is the transfer of data across the systems, because minimum SAP SRM and ECC, how the data transfer takes place, how the business documents will be exchanged, that we are going to discuss here using synchronous communication, asynchronous communication, RFC, ALE, IDOCs as well as XML format. Everything we are going to cover here. Then after we are going to discuss all SAP SRM configuration which is available in the SAP SRM system, and also our respective configuration in the backend material management system. Also we are going to cover here integration of backend system with SRM system. All the respective configuration in both ECC, MM as well as SRM system we are going to cover here. Then after in the next chapter, synchronization of both the systems, how the ECC system and SRM system will be synchronized with each other, that we are going to discuss with each other, because this is one of the important and critical part, synchronization of both the systems. If it is not properly synchronized, it will lead to different critical issues. That's why the synchronization is a very critical part we are going to cover here. Then after we are going to discuss technical flow, I mean how the follow-on document, I mean purchase order or purchase requisition or contracts will be replicated from SRM to ECC system, and how the backend follow-on document numbers will get updated in the SRM shopping cart. The technical flow, whatever the programs, whatever the tables involving in this process we are going to cover here. Then the job scheduling, background job scheduling. In order to perform different tasks in SAP SRM and ECC system, we need to schedule certain jobs. That jobs we are going to discuss here, part of background job scheduling. Then after error handling methods, because there are possibilities of n number of errors here, either in the SRM stage or at the ECC stage or at the stage of follow-on document transfer from SRM to ECC or ECC to SRM. So here we are going to discuss all the possible error handling methods to resolve production support issues, that we are going to discuss here. Then after, the very important and critical part is the organization structure, because it is entirely different concept comparing with ECC MM org structure. Here we are going to discuss all the org structure concepts which exist in SRM, including purchase org structure, employee org structure as well as supplier org structure. That includes all the attributes maintenance and replication of users or employees from backend system to SRM system, and consistency check, replication of MM org structure, that is plant, company code, everything into SRM system. So all the concepts related to SRM org structure we are going to discuss here. Then after workflow is the basically technical part. So how much functional consultants should know related to workflow. That includes both application controlled workflow as well as process control workflow. We are going to discuss here, especially functional part we are going to cover, not the technical part. Then after master data, how to maintain master data like vendor masters, product master, service master, product categories in SRM system, or how to replicate from backend system to SRM system. That master data maintenance and the replication procedure we are going to discuss here. That includes middleware configuration settings. Then catalog management, how the catalog procurement will be taken place and its related configuration settings we are going to cover here using CCM, catalog content management application. Then very high level overview of MDM catalogs we are going to cover here as a part of MDM catalogs. Then the sourcing concept, it is especially vendor selection process, how the vendor will be identified in the SRM system using bidding engine or live action cockpit, that we are going to discuss here. Then after, if come to specific procurement scenarios, we are going to discuss end-to-end self-service procurement scenarios including relevant configuration. Then end-to-end service procurement including its related configuration. And we are going to discuss end-to-end plan-driven procurement and its related configuration. We are going to discuss end-to-end contract management and its related configuration. Apart from that, the other scenarios like shopping cart behalf of scenario, shopping cart substitution scenario, shopping cart reroute scenario, we are going to discuss here. So these are all the training agenda. Along with that, we are going to discuss very important critical list of transaction codes, programs, badges, badge jobs, BAPIs, which are used in the SAP SRM. And finally, we are going to end up training program with some real-time production support issues to expert to train the people in terms of real-time environment. This is the overall SAP SRM syllabus we are going to cover as a part of SAP SRM training agenda, especially functional area. Yeah, that's enough. Thank you for joining this training agenda. Bye.